Hey guys, Josh here. So basically, I decided Super Science, while it did relatively well, I was kind of quickly running out of science ideas. So until I can kind of get a lot of them done ahead of time and then release them as it goes on, instead of Super Science on Thursdays, either it's gonna be another character bio, or it's gonna be a topic video such as this. This one's the top 5 Iron Man armors. Specifically, it's the ones we've seen so far in the Marvel movies, or the MCU for short. It's been called Marvel Cinematic Universe, whatever you want to call it. Starting from Iron Man 1 all the way currently to Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, I'm not really taking into account the upcoming films, except for one exception, which I'll get to, mostly because we haven't really seen what they can do, so I can't really properly judge them. So let's start with number 1. So, number 1 is the one in Avengers. Honestly, this should be pretty self-explanatory. It's a GOAT. Now, by GOAT, what I mean by that, essentially, is the fact... It's Mark 7, by the way, if you can't read Roman numerals, sorry. But it appeared in the Avengers. The reason why I call it the GOAT, the greatest of all time, that's what it stands for, is because it appeared in Avengers, it had to fight the Chitauri army, the Leviathans. Like it had to take on some pretty powerful foes. You know, it withstood Loki. Essentially, out of every other Iron Man movie we've seen so far, this one has been able to dish and take the most damage. And also, it was very, I'd say, easier to use than the other ones. Also, it didn't have a long suit up process. It was very simple. Like Tony Stark suited up in this armor while falling down a building. So honestly, when it comes to versatility, having to quickly put it on, then having to fight a powerful opponent, just overall, this armor is what stuck out. This one stuck out to me, really. That's a bottom line. So let's get to number 2, and that's War Machine. The reason I have War Machine on here, also, this includes War Machine Mark II, which appears in Iron Man 3, even though it's repainted as Iron Patriot. But if you read the tie-in comics, they say that, Tony made him a new armor that they painted to be Iron Patriot, which isn't much different from Mark 1. Now, War Machine, besides looking like a total badass and having a minigun and everything, pretty much has all the abilities that the Iron Man armor has, at least presumably at the end of Iron Man 1. It has all the abilities that armor has, plus all the guns and extra military package with it. So it's pretty cool, I have to say. Honestly, it was able to hold its own against Iron Man. Granted, Tony Stark was a bit drunk, but he was able to hold his own in the Iron Man 2 party fight. And also, he's just War Machine's fan favorite. I love War Machine personally. I've always been one of those people that loves the replacement heroes more than the original heroes. I used to always love War Machine more than Iron Man. Beta Ray Bill over Thor, things like that. But let's move on to number 3, and that is the Mark 6. It first appeared in Iron Man 2. Now, the reason I have this here is because it was the first armor to not technically poison, so to speak, Tony Stark. Even though that wasn't the armor's fault, that was the core he used. This one had a vast number of improvements over the suit he wore in Iron Man 1. A lot of them being the laser he used against the drones when, during the final fight at the end. Alongside, presumably, better flight capabilities, more powerful repulsors. It's just overall this suit was better. Also, this was the suit he wore when he was fighting Thor, and it did fairly well. And judging by how the first Iron Man suit did against, Obadiah Stane and all that stuff, granted, I know Iron Man was a bit short on power, but, this armor definitely seems like a vast improvement over the one from Iron Man 1. Thus, also, when he was flexing off the weapons it had against Loki and Avengers, it seemed pretty impressive. So that's here. Now we move on to Iron Man Armor 43. I believe it's 43. This one is technically the Hulkbuster. Now, I said before I was going to have future armors on here, but this one was pretty much self-explanatory, and I felt like it'd be a shame not to put it on here. And first appearance will be in the upcoming Avengers 2 Age of Ultron movie. Now, the reason I have this on here as number 4, not number 1, 2, or anything like that, is because in regards to all-around functional, functionability, I can't even say the word. In terms of, just all-around use, the other armors are better, but definitely when it comes to fighting the Hulk or heavier opponents, I would say the Hulkbuster wins. Presumably, from what we have seen, we've seen it fly in the trailer. We've seen it, take the Hulk's punches. And by take the Hulk's punches, I don't mean stopping the punches, but I mean like you get hit by the Hulk and you're not destroyed. Like you get back up. You're able to fight still. So, it's pretty impressive. It's able to obviously hit the Hulk. Presumably, it's along some sort of similar strength level. So, all in all, it's pretty impressive. I'd have to say. I couldn't build this, obviously. I don't think anyone could. Too much money. But, yeah, so that's number 4. And number 5 is the Iron Man 3 primary armor, the Mark 42, aka the Prodigal Son. Now, the reason why this is number 5 and not like a higher number is because, for all intents and purposes, it was a prototype. Throughout the whole movie, we saw it falling apart, failing at times, and it was definitely a prototype. Now, we see in Avengers Age of Ultron the finalized version of this, which is actually interesting. He, reverses, for, the body of the armor, all the gold you see there is red, and all the red you see is gold, pretty much, which is pretty interesting. The helmet pretty much stays the same. But, the suit didn't really show anything promising, except for it did show, essentially, everything else the other ones did. And the reason why it's even on here is because of its ability to, be controlled mentally and, go on you in different parts, things like that, which gives it a huge advantage. So, all in all, that's pretty much it. Comment with your guys' ideas. I'll see you guys later. Hey guys, subscribe if you haven't yet. Like the video if you liked it, obviously. Share it on social media. Speaking of social media, we have a Twitter, so follow us on Twitter. We have a Facebook, so like us on Facebook. We do a lot on the social medias that we don't do on YouTube in particular. And we'll see you guys next time.